pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Are there any additions or corrections to the minutes from the February meeting?
Move we approve the minutes, both regular and executive session.
There
Second.
was additions that were made that Wyatt brought up, very minor.
Very minor.
You put those in, right?
Yeah.
And then, yeah, so,
But you have those.
yes, they're corrected.
Been moved and seconded that the minutes be approved with the corrections, all in favor? Motion approved, citizen comments. Badge pinning.
So after our last meeting and our mega batch pinning, we had one individual that was actually on shift that went out on a call, and I felt that he's deserving of the recognition. And I felt terrible because his family showed up, everybody showed up, and I'm looking and I'm like, where'd Kyle go? And he was doing what Kyle always does. And that was, he was out running calls, taking care of our community. I've known Kyle ever since he was an intern. I was his lieutenant when he was an intern. And I think that he's been doing a far better job than what I did as lieutenant. He probably treats his interns a lot better anyway. And you know, Kyle is one of those guys, I always kind of joke that he is the, he's kind of like the submarine service and the fire service. You never see him, you never hear him, but he's out there getting things done. Every project that Kyle has ever had his way, the next thing I know, he just comes up and he tells me, hey, chief, yeah, no, that's all taken care of, everything's all lined out, everything's all done. So, he's been an outstanding employee, he's well deserving of this. So tonight, I would like to bring Lieutenant Kyle Kemper up to take his official oath and sign his official oath for his position. Lieutenant here, Lebanon Fire District. So, if you'll raise your right hand and state after me. I state your name.
I, Kyle Kemper,
Swear to serve the Lebanon Fire District with courage and honor.
swear to serve the Lebanon Fire District with courage and honor.
I will protect life, property, and community
I will protect life, property, and community
with skills and compassion.
with skills and compassion.
I will act bravely and train diligently.
I will act bravely and train diligently.
I will uphold the Constitution of the United States of America
I will uphold the Constitution of the United States of America
and maintain integrity on every call.
and maintain integrity on every call.
This I pledge for the safety of all.
This I pledge for the safety of all.
Who's gonna do this, Julie?
I am the one to do it.
There you go.
Yeah, that's not in me, and then this special live for it. I'll be done.
Well, congratulations, well deserved, Kyle. Here and all. There. Okay, all right.
Missed the best part, Sarah.
You're only gonna get better and better as they happen. Read that one.
Thank you. No. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
You guys took lots of pictures, right?
Yeah, go over here. There's the camera.
Annexation request.
So there's one in the packet and we had one, our last full board meeting, the 43349 Snow Peak Drive. And it needs a proper motion and vote. It was voted and approved, but it was not, proper motion wasn't made, so we just need to make sure that we're up on that. And I believe there is a second one in here, on McDowell Creek.
And do you have anything to present on that? or-
No, as these come in, I really don't even see these, they just get submitted in the front office and we'll just put it in the packet, so.
We have a motion to go ahead and approve these annexations.
Now, the question is, chief, what is the proper motion?
So I believe if you make a motion to, approve the annexation at 43349 Snow Peak Drive and at 40850 McDowell Creek Drive. And everybody's voted on, we got the vote count, and that
So
will.
moved. Second,
Really quick, I don't think I need to worry about anything, but just out of abundance of caution, I am the insurance agent for the McDowell Creek property. I don't believe that to be a conflict of interest, but I figured I'd toss it out there before I second.
so noted.
Second,
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Passed. CWDG grant vehicle purchase.
Yeah, so we put this out here, we had received the grant for CWDG. We are actually still waiting. So a couple of board meetings ago, we've come to the board with the IGA draft to look at. We're actually still waiting for the final cut. I'm hoping that we receive it this month. We have, so it's gonna be an expenditure that is, there's two ways of doing it. One is, we either, once we have the IGA signed and we go forward with this, we can either get the money pre-approved or we can purchase, and then get reimbursed, and it's a 3-week reimbursement. And I think that's kind of semantics either way, but it is an expenditure greater than $50,000. It is a reimbursed expenditure. We received $86,000 in the CWDG grant for the vehicle, and that includes getting radios and all the other equipment put in it. And so what we're just seeking would be board approval for that vehicle purchase. And I would put on there, once the IGA is signed and confirmed. And it could be next week, or it could be 2 weeks from now, or 3 weeks from now.
Questions?
it's for sure reimbursed, right? We just need.
Yes.
Okay,
We have a motion.
I have a motion that we purchase the vehicle and file for reimbursement.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Appoint budget officer.
So I know that we appointed Matt, as the budget officer. That actual,
So you found out I was a felon?
no,
Oh,
you're not gonna get out of what you're doing.
oh, darn.
But at some point, I actually need to be appointed as the department budget officer. As the one that develops and brings forward the budget to the budget committee. So or you can make Mark or Russell a canvas, but, that does need to have a motion, and be made and approved.
And we have a motion.
You can,
I move we appoint the chief as the chief budget officer.
We have a
Second.
second. Moved and seconded, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
So be it.
And so with that, Des does have the budget calendar laid out. She has got all of the, budget committee members, will be advertising tomorrow. Or will be going to the newspapers to advertise for publication and on the website, starting the 18th. We'll have the budget document, to committee for review on April 1st. And then the, budget committee meeting April 8th at 5 p.m. will be the first one, so as we go forward.
Financial report.
Thing, so tax revenue. 92% has been received, 8% still out remaining. We haven't received nothing yet this month, but we'll hope to see something any day. I would imagine, just going off of histrionics, that we should probably receive at least another 5%. There's usually always some outstanding, but then last year's outstanding sometimes trickles in, but, that's where we're at with that. Fire and life safety fees are higher, when compared to last year. Almost double what we saw last year at this time. Candace, you could probably share on the plans with you. With that, then I know you had a number the other day that you gave me, but. Yeah.
Just looking at the fees, that we do charge for a plan review and the number that we did, it brought in roughly $18,000 with that. And then, with the city, commercial plan review, that was, last year was around 3,000. We brought in that, and, if this year is anything like last year, then it's just gonna keep going steady and constantly getting more and more reviews coming in and lots of building going on.
GEMT funds. We just actually got an email today, that the 2024, the payment for, CCO's, report is currently being rerun, and, they'll send, will be sent ASAP to the providers. We should expect that within the week. OHA has confirmed that they have all the forms needed and is getting the 2025 IGT paperwork documents ready to send out to the GEMT providers. They're working, it's the state working to expedite the process. So we may see some email from her soon this week. And they're ready to process all of CY 2025 very soon. So, so we should be seeing some GEMT money within a week, so that's good. Ambulance billing, receivables in-house, $12,000 is what we received. And we're still waiting on some pending current reports from Tactical, but so far Tactical's been trudging right along. They did have some personnel changes at Tactical. They had one of the people leave. I'm guessing that's probably why it's a little bit slow for pending current reports, although I think I did see on my email, I've seen a new name for Tactical, so those may be in by now. We're getting ready to fire med again. Right now, it's very similar to last year, what we've been receiving. We're accepting payments online that offers a discount for anyone who rolls in an automatic renewal. So we're kind of hoping that that increases in membership, doing some advertising on Facebook. And I was talking with, Des about doing some mailers potentially in, April. So, doing a newsletter, we have an opportunity to advertise for our fire med, get ready for May subscription, and we can send out some other information in that newsletter in that process, so. Online store. They're still working on the online store, no ETA at this time. Cindy, I don't know, did we get the photographs?
Perfect, working on them.
Quarterly's work, yes. We're waiting on finishing up some of the photographs of some of the items and articles that are gonna be sold on that, be put on the, website. So financial statements, we will require changes to incorporate the CWDG funding and expenses for this year. Since we're going to do that, we can add a line item transfers to cover the overlap in fire chief and fire marshal salaries. So, you notice, I believe Wyatt brought that up, a meeting or two ago. They have or will be overexpended, as mentioned in prior meetings. Des is gonna begin reviewing with me a potential plan to transfer funds between line items. Station 34, is hitting the building maintenance count pretty hard this year, as expected, with some of the things that we've done out there this year, some unexpected items. Unemployment expenses are higher than anticipated. We learned that even if an employee chooses to leave us, if they leave their next job, we're still liable, even if they quit. We pay a reimbursement to the Oregon Department of Revenue rather than percentage of salary that most employers pay. And I believe we expended, it was over $22,000 for an employee that had left here a while back, so. Department 210, retiree expenses will begin, expensing faster now due to December 31st retirements. They're eligible for the health insurance subsidy. And that is it for financials, unless there is any questions. I will answer the question that you had submitted earlier.
Perfect.
So yes, contracts tend to come usually in big bunches, usually around this time of year. And then the rest are usually come around June, right before the new fiscal year starts, and that usually finishes them off. So
Perfect.
contracts are on a timeline typically whenever they're started, and it's usually always in the spring or early summer, so.
Perfect, thank you.
Any other questions or comments on the finance report? Okay, move on to legislative report.
So session's closed. I sent out, a report to all you guys earlier. I'll probably do just kind of a final cleanup one. I like to get a mix between, some of the different groups that we work with, two different groups, and they usually put together a pretty, full and complete report on those. So when I get those, I'll share them out with the board. But the big ones were GEMT and how that program is funded. There was concerns with how that works, that, current administration at a federal level or at a, CMS level, Medicare and Medicaid level, could say, no, we're no longer gonna pay these funds. Oregon is one of the states that has been scrutinized closely on how that CMS money comes in and passes through. And it put us a liability for being able to receive those funds, so it took a legislative change to be able to pivot and receive those funds in a different manner, like a lot of other states are doing. So that got passed unanimously. So that was a good thing. So that's all I really have for a legislative update.
Okay. Union address the board. And will you identify yourself for the internet.
Yeah, so Mike Perkins, Secretary Treasurer of the Union, keeping it short today. We just want to congratulate Kyle on finally getting his bad fitting. So congratulations, well deserved. Or now we have no consent. Thank you.
Thank you. Volunteers.
I have a comment about the union. Union addressed the work group last week, and I really appreciated the effort that went into that and the thought that went into that handout.
Thanks, sir. I appreciate it.
Now volunteers address.
Yeah, volunteer update. For new members, we do have applications closing on this Thursday. And so if there's people out there who don't have their applications in, turn them in. I currently only have one application in, one gentleman for an application for the spring academy. So I'm hoping to get more folks trickle in here towards the end. I do have in the queue 3 support volunteers for Fire Corps that are in the process, going through the application process, hopefully to bolster those numbers.
Is what application you have for Station 31 or
He is, yeah, he lives just down the street on Tangent.
anything else?
Nope.
Okay. Fire chief report.
Well, it's gonna be a short one. Station 34 water is now hooked up to, city water system. Still a little bit of finalized work. They still have to, completely cover some of the line. Dell may remember when they built that station that it was a pretty tremendous amount of, load material that they had to put in there to compact the soil. So there's a lot of big rocks, so they have to get in a little bit softer dirt to cover the line with. And we also had today out, a crew looking, and this is the last one, looking at Station 34. So what was discovered was one of the issues, is how the insulation is put into that structure. And so instead of traditionally being on, like up above this roof right here, it is actually up on this, ceiling, up on the rafters. And so the thought is that is what is creating some of the restriction of airflow and causing some of the issues. So we've had, I had Aaron have 3 different contractors look at it for reconfiguring the insulation out there. So we got the last bid on that today. So,
Is that batten insulation
it's a plastic seal, which kind of even makes it even worse, you know, so it's got that plastic sealing back. I'm not a construction guy, so. But they feel that that's part of the problem, especially as it come down towards the eaves that got shoved up in, up against the wall, you know, and the framing in there. And it's restricted a lot of that airflow, so. The thought process is try to get some more increased life out of that roof. It's actually just insulate all the ceilings in the structure, or bring that insulation down to the ceilings of the structure. Allow that airflow, in attic space, like, you know, everybody's common house, for the rafters and the sheeting, to breathe and get proper airflow in there, and that should slow down the issues that we've had, so. I already talked about GEMT. So after the work group, I did reach out to Liz Loomis, the consultant I was telling you about. And we had a, pretty long call, and she sent me a summarization. So, her recommendation will be the May 2027 primary. November is too soon because there's not an organized approach. And some of it was, I gave her some history on the last time that this was attempted and some opposition groups that we opposed. And she said there would need to be some thought, some research put into that. She also stated or felt like the district needed time to educate residents about what's at stake and how we're funded. She did not anticipate a different result, if we ran in November, and then put the same thing back out in May. I also reached out to another consulting group. She was busy. It's the same one that the city of Lebanon is using, the same company. She has a member that she was going to refer to me within her company. I have not heard back from him. I also reached out to one of our local legislators and asked if they had anybody that they knew of or recommended. And it was actually the same group that is supposed to get back to me. I also reached out to Reagan Knopf, who worked on our last campaign, and he's supposed to get back to me this next week. So we have people out there looking. I've got feelers out, so.
Chief, do the consultants just advise on strategy, or do they help us with like the paperwork? Like, what do we get for $1 with consultants?
It's kind of like going to McDonald's, right? You can get the full meal deal, or you can just get fries and a shake, or you can just get the fries or the hamburger. So it's really what we're looking for. I think at least at this point, or without talking to any other groups, I really think one of the major things would be the marketing, the messaging, and the strategy towards that. I talked with Liz Loomis considerably about that. And some of the things that we've been trying to do and put into place. Some of it is they're up against it. They're running a lot of campaigns, you know, right now for this spring. But she really felt that to do justice, for her company to do justice, and this is just her company and just one company, that they would want to actually start and come on board of May of this year, or May of the following year campaign. We did not talk about dollars and cents, to tell you, and she said that she's more than happy to come and present to the board. I think it's about how much do you want, how much does she think, you know, for success? And I think the right approach is we need to talk to some other people out there that do this. We did have success with her, with the bond. She didn't want to touch us for a levy in the past, so.
She protects her winning record.
Yeah, she has like 93% approval. It's gonna be interesting. She's running campaigns for Lebanon Fire. And I think he's laying her role one of those to see if there's any kind of appetite in those areas. So with that, that's into my report, unless there's any further questions.
I guess I'd just say on the consultants thing, when you bring up burgers and fries, like, I can make a burger and fry at home. I can't make a McFlurry at home. So if they're gonna bring something to the table that we can't do in-house, I'm interested, but I was not super impressed with the consultation in our last levy.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd want to spend a whole bunch of money on something similar.
I will say this, that was that person's first time running that type of, they're not available anyway. I think that there's companies out there, one of the other ones that I reached out to that do this. But we haven't got to the point to talk about what kind of success rate they've had. What do they offer? What do they do? The paperwork portion, that's not necessarily a difficult thing, and there's actually, I think, people around locally that could walk us through or help us with that. It's more marketing, messaging, that kind of approach, so.
Well, I think the more people we talk to, the better off we are, and get a better picture of it to make a decision, so.
Yeah.
Keep working on it. Anything else? Okay, number 11, we're gonna adjourn the regular session and under, per the ORS 192.6602, paragraph D, to conduct deliberations on labor negotiations.
Do we have the additional line in there? I don't think so.
Do not have that in front of me.
Yeah, that we can go, oh, it's down to word. Correct in what we're doing.
We can paraphrase it.
Oh, no. We could- oh, no.
Cindy,
Allowed to go,
what's that?
the one I'm allowed to go to.
You're allowed to go to, but you're not allowed to publish or report on. That's the summarized version.
Yeah.
I'd rather that the legal version be given, so. And even with waiting for Cindy to bring that back, this is probably the shortest board meeting that we've had.
Yeah, close.
Him for half a year. For me.
Okay, the Board of Directors of Lebanon Fire District will now adjourn to executive session pursuant to RS 192.6602, which allows the board to meet in executive session 2. Executive session will be held in the Lebanon Fire District Conference Room. Members of the audience excluded from attending executive session may remain in this room. At the end of the executive session, we will return to open session in this room. Representatives of the news media and designated staff will be allowed to attend the executive session. Representatives of the news media are specifically directed not to report on or otherwise disclose any of the deliberations or anything said about these subjects during the executive session, except to state the general subject of the session as previously announced. No decision may be made in executive session.
the firefighters talk about whether or not.
Yeah.
We're not envying that.
I was fun.
We'll go ahead and reconvene the regular session of the Board of Directors. Is there any other things to come before the board tonight? Motion,
He's not here, but I feel like we missed out on a chance to congratulate Jason Adamson for getting Man of the Year in Lebanon.
Oh, yeah. We're gonna try to get some stuff out on our social media about that one of our members got so distinguished, so.
Yeah, it was great to see.
Yeah.
that, we're adjourned.